Down here at the bottom left-hand corner of Antiga Shipyard, we have our blue Zerg player from the team Acer, winner of the first game and switching his color. It is ParanOid. And his opponent in the upper right-hand corner from alternate attacks, our yellow Terran player, Cloud.
ParanOid's map knowledge absolutely lacking in this early part of the game.
Or he's just paranoid about it.
Yeah, you nailed it. Man, you're on top of things today.
I got it.
It is. He's just paranoid about it.
Yeah.
All right, but Cloud, being the manner guy that he is, does let ParanOid know that he doesn't need to be paranoid, that it is indeed cross position. So we're going to see a Terran versus Zerg, and this is a really interesting matchup. I was actually talking to aXlav a little bit about this last night, and just kind of talking about just how quickly this matchup is developing. That queen change really had a profound effect on Terran versus Zerg. Terrans are having to try a lot of new things now in the early game. Zergs are kind of experimenting with just what they can kind of get away with now that they're a lot safer in the early part of the game in general. So, yeah, it's a fascinating match to watch. I can't wait to see what these guys do.
Yeah, I remember I was reading some of the recaps of GSL last night, and I forgot who the player was. Actually ended up going for an 8-queen build, so an 8-queen build. I mean, that's verging.
Why stop making queens? They're an awesome unit.
I know. That's verging on like Ice Fisher levels, Spinishwa style, back from about a year ago, though, and the amount of queens that are being sent out. So
had it figured out, apparently.
Well, let's see here now. And they're even better now with 5 range.
Oh, I know. It's just... Queens are incredible now.
Oh, it looks like they're using an old version of the map. There are gold minerals here, so Cloud certainly going to be very happy when he sees that.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, ParanOid can always do something crazy, like take another expansion there as well, but he won't, so we don't need to worry about that. But yeah, it is indeed a little bit older version of the map. Our version for Team Arena Challenge does not have those gold bases, but, you know, it's just not a lot you can do about it. If they're both okay with it, we're okay with it.
Drone's going to get in. It's going to see the gas coming up now. It's weird because...
is that only 2 in gas? Sorry.
Let's see. Oh, it is.
Yeah,
you are correct. All right. Well, how much did he actually pick up on there?
Nothing.
Interesting.
He didn't scout far enough. Yeah, that was a little mistake there by ParanOid, not going in quite far enough to see that gas. Getting gas himself, though, so he will have Zergling speed, the ability to throw down a Baneling nest as well fairly quickly at the at a fairly normal time. So this shouldn't really affect ParanOid a whole lot. Though he may be thinking of doing an early Speedling attack because he thinks it's going to be 1 Rax expand, but I'm really curious. Does he still have 2? Okay, so that was probably just a little bit of a mistake there.
Well, it kind of ended up becoming a 1 Rax expand because he's expanding before he gets down the factory or the reactor. So,
well, I wonder if this was planned. I mean, Cloud is
I'm
actually.
Sure it was.
Well, I'm not totally sure. I mean, Cloud is definitely the type of Terran player to really kind of fine-tune openings like this, but it would be. This is like. Yeah, just the way that the gas is lining up right now, he had this kind of long delay before he could put down that reactor, so yeah, I don't think that was intentional. So little bit of an error at the start of the game by Cloud, but not anything that's really going to have too big of an impact. His Hellions are going to be slightly later, so if ParanOid is going for that early Speedling attack that we see a lot of Zergs doing, that could make a bit of a difference. He's got 100 gas now. There's the Zergling speed as well. Ooh, and a 3rd command center for Cloud. All right, well, this is cool, but it is going to make him a little bit vulnerable in the early game. If ParanOid, like I said, goes for that early Speedling attack, Cloud could be in a little bit of trouble. He could have his natural denied for quite some time.
Reactor just finishes up there. Factory switching on to that. Cloud indeed is moving over to multiple orbital commands now. We'll see what ParanOid decides to do. He's pulled completely off of gas after Zergling speed. He does have Queens number 3 and 4 just popping up at the moment as well. Dropping down a couple of creep tumors or so, I suppose. Yeah, there we go. Queen was a little bit far away to be doing anything else.
Yep, that's right. There's a couple different kind of philosophies on, whether to inject or use a creep tumor with your first queens, and you kind of see different players approach it different ways. It looked like at that point, I believe ParanOid injected first with his queen to his natural and then used his 2nd set of energy for a creep tumor, which is what it was kind of traditionally the things a lot of Zergs were doing. But now that he's got 3 queens down at that natural expansion, shouldn't have any trouble at all with these Hellions.
No, not at all. And it looks like the Hellions are just tearing across the map as we have the next command center just finishing up. So we'll see what Cloud wants to do from here on out. Is he going to go right over to Marine Tank? Is he going to go into a little bit higher tech for a little while? But already has a couple of tech labs allocated for some additional structures.
Well, Cloud loves drop play, loves to have a lot of Marines out, so I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him throw a lot more barracks down and just really take advantage of the fact that with 3 orbitals, he's going to have a lot of minerals. That's what a lot of Terran players have been choosing to do lately. he is going to get some nice scouting done with these Hellions as well, seeing that there is no third base. No early speedling attack from ParanOid as well, just getting that for safety, it looks like. Not really making a whole lot of use of it, but look at that. Wow. I can't believe he got in there. What a huge, huge thing to scout everything like that.
Yeah, that's about as good of a scouting wing as you can possibly hope for. So, and he's even going to start working on the tech lab, but it will eventually get cleaned up. So
sees the tech lab on the factory moving too, so he should know that there's pretty quick siege mode on the way as well, which kind of suggests a 11 to 12 minute Marine tank push. We'll have to see what Cloud does, but ParanOid has all the information you could ever hope to have in this case.
And double engineering bay after this has been so common off of Terran players recently to go for this very greedy style, making sure you invest in all your upgrades and infrastructure and economy very early on. And if Zerg players don't punish it, Terran players get incredibly strong. You mentioned that kind of 11-minute mark, but anywhere from about 11 to 13 minutes, you get this just ridiculously large, heavily upgraded force ready to go.
Yep, that's definitely a timing that a lot of Terran players have been choosing to do. Lair and a macro hatch on the way now, as well as the third base for ParanOid, and he is getting his +1 carapace upgrade. Started the Baneling nest as well, so all in all, pretty standard play out of ParanOid. Nothing too special, no early pushes or anything like that. Looks like he's going to just go into a straight-up Ling Baneling, and we'll have to see if he decides to go Muta out of this or if he wants to add on Infestors. Infestors have generally been the more popular thing to do lately, especially on Antiga Shipyard, but Mutas work okay. I feel like in these spawn positions, you can hit their main a little bit easier, so yeah, we'll see what he decides to do. I always hope it's Mutas just because I love Mutalisks, but Infestors seem to be the more stable way to go these days in Zerg versus Terran.
Well, yeah, I mean, we definitely saw a little bit of that. Some interesting play in yesterday's matches of Marine King versus Coca as well. If you guys haven't seen those games, I highly recommend you check those out, by the way. The VODs are on our Twitch channel or should be on youtube.com/IGNProLeague by now anyway, but if you wanted to see how kind of every conceivable Terran opening versus every conceivable Zerg opening in this state of the game plays out, really do watch that set.
Hugely educational set, yeah. Very, very cool stuff for sure. I'm not doing build order breakdown this week, but next week I think I'm going to pull some games from that. We're going to take a closer look at what Marine King and Coca are doing in those games because, man, those are really, really cool games.
Well, with that being said, now we have 3 command centers pretty well saturated for Cloud. He's investing back into his reactors as well, and you're going to see his supply just skyrocket in a very short period of time. Looks like he does have tanks with siege mode done. Clever positioning, too, watching the entrance over to the third, but keeping them much less exposed.
Yeah, great positioning for those tanks. Good defensive positioning, too. And ParanOid can use that information to kind of do things like that, exactly. Take another base, be able to just kind of expand. He knows his opponent is sitting back, probably going for a 2-2 oriented push now. And ParanOid kind of has the time he needs to get his upgrades going, get an army prepared so that when Cloud does move out, he's ready for it. So ParanOid has just done an awesome, awesome job of keeping abreast of everything that Cloud is doing this game. No real mystery at all as far as what the Terran is up to. He's a little bit down on supply, but he has gone very, very upgrade and economy heavy too. So that is the reason for that. He's saving up a lot of gas right now. He's going to be able to make a lot of those higher tech units pretty soon. And I feel like he's going to have a pretty decent army ready when Cloud moves out.
And Cloud actually going up to 3 factories in total now, as we see 2 more being constructed back at his natural. So he is going to be able to move into massive amounts of tank production if he wants to. Could eventually throw up a few Thors as the game goes on as well. So ParanOid continued to extend his creep through the middle of the map. We are kind of playing a No Rush 15 sort of game right now.
A little bit.
But that's okay, because this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. As both players are flexing their macro might, we see an enormous amount of resources pooling for ParanOid. It's a large part of the reason why he's down in supply. He is banking resources, and he's going to be able to put out a lot of Infestors here in a second.
Yeah, what he's going to do is he's going to just get this big Ling Infestor Ultralisk force and try to just be out there and ready on the map with a really strong army when Cloud decides to move out with his largely Marine tank force. He is going a little bit light on medevacs right now so far, and look at this, Cloud putting up 4 missile turrets. Yeah, he's wondering what's up, because a lot of times Zerg would put some sort of aggression on. He's wondering if it's drop play. That is something that Zergs have been doing a little bit more often lately, but no, I'm sure 100% that it's going to be Ultralisks coming out for ParanOid here, and he's just waiting. He's just playing the typical macro Zerg. He's just kind of sitting around. When Cloud moves out, he's got to be very, very careful, because ParanOid's whole strategy is based on crushing that attack.
And Paranoid going ahead and taking a 5th base over on the right-hand side of the map as well, but players are relatively even in workers, actually exactly even at this moment. 107 Zerglings on the field, but 9 Infestors are ready to pop. There they are. And that Ultralisk Cavern is on the way as well. So taking a look at things, 2-1 upgrades for now, +2 attacks and Adrenal Glands coming up now for those Zerglings.
Yeah, so the upgrades are a little bit better for Cloud, and he will be moving out on the map to try to maybe take that middle center base. Maybe going for this one as well. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's going to be a whole lot that Paranoid can do to save this, but he is counterattacking. Oh, Paranoid running into a lot of Lings, and the tanks there, are they undefended enough for this to work?
Yeah, it looks like they are, actually. One of the tanks does go down, and he forces all the mining off of the line, and it forces Cloud completely back. That's also going to serve the purpose of freeing up a little bit of supply as well. Now, Cloud could take out this base if he focuses it down here in just a bit. Looks like he does clean up the attack. Paranoid trying to swing in and clean things
it's going to be close. I think he's going to save it.
Wow, because he didn't focus down the hatchery stays alive with just 400 hit points.
Yeah, but now Cloud moving out with a very strong attack. 3-3 is not done yet, so that will be something that will be in Paranoid's favor. He did just use up a lot of Zerglings on that counterattack, and he has to use a lot of Larva and Ultralisks now to make that worth it, but he started one Ultra. He's thinking about it. He's like, what units do I really want to handle this? And yeah, he's switching over to Zerglings instead. Needs to get some Banelings out as well. At this point, Ultralisks are not necessarily going to be the best thing against this army. Oh, but Fungals work pretty nice. Oh!
Boom! Oh, that was a lot of Marines that just died there. So, but Cloud is still up by about 50 supply at the moment. There's 27 larvae sitting around for Paranoid as well. He's just not making any units at the moment. He's more worried about his control. And he is doing a very nice job of deflecting up at the front, but Cloud continues to macro. He is going to take out another base as well.
Yep, 2 more bases on the way, though, for Paranoid, so he has a little bit of an economy. The 3rd base denied again by Paranoid. No mining going on there. He is making Ultralisks and more Zerglings right now as well. The low medevac count is really causing Cloud to take a lot of damage from those fungal growths. He lost a lot of Marines in that. Now the supply swinging back to Paranoid's favor, and when everything pops out here, if he controls it well, he may be able to crush this attack, and he definitely needs to if he wants to win this game. Here he goes.
There are indeed 8 Ultralisks coming up as well. Just 1 on the field at the moment, though, and he's attacking into this before the rest of the Ultras are able to reinforce, and Cloud is able to just go through it like nothing.
That Ultra killed 4 tanks, though, so that definitely helped. And here comes everything else right now. Pretty much all Ultras, but again, the medevac count just so low that everything's dying really quick for Cloud. I think he seriously miscalculated with the medevacs.
All right, well, looks like the rest of the Ultras aren't going to survive. 6 Ultras still remaining now. Is that all that's on the field? Looks like a 7th was just created. 135 supply to 155 at the moment. This hatchery's actually taken 500 hit points of damage just with Hellions, so they've been there for a while, I have to tell you.
Very dedicated Hellions. A lot of Marauders out right now as well, so Paranoid is going to be careful. He needs to not attack with only Ultras. He needs that good group of Lings and Infestors added into this to make kind of a more well-rounded army. But if he decides to go after the 3rd, forces Cloud to come down that ramp and gets fungled, he's going to be in a great spot right now.
Yeah, Link starting to cycle back over to the 3rd once again. Cloud trying to establish a base in the middle of the map at that gold. He attacks into a very nice position, but then moves down. There's, well, are there any Infestors? Just 1 with this, and it doesn't have enough for a fungal growth.
Yeah, 7 more Infestors on the way right now. Paranoid's done a ton of damage at this 3rd base, killing nearly every SCV. Just kind of poking with those Ultras. Yeah, he's killed 20 of them so far. That's the majority of the ones at that 3rd base. And he's done a good job so far of keeping those Ultralisks alive. Cloud kind of, to a certain extent, caught between a rock and a hard place. I feel like he needs to start doing these little pokes here and there to try to pull Paranoid's army away and kind of pick it apart piece by piece. Maybe dropping would be an answer, but again, the medevac count has been really low this game. It's tough to be able to dedicate some medevacs to dropping when you need them for your army as well.
It is really low, but I gotta say, Cloud still has a pretty staggeringly powerful army. I mean, this is still nothing to sneeze at.
Well, the upgrades are great.
Yeah, it's going to require a lot of very, very good control out of Paranoid to try and break this. So a few units swinging over to the right there to take out a base, and it looks like they are going to be able to get it. Even a medevac floating over there to try and pick up some of those units, and it looks like Cloud's going to be able to get out of there just losing 1 Marauder. Well done.
Yeah, now that's exactly what Cloud needs to do to get back in this game. Oh, but look at this, a big attack from Paranoid coming when the army's a little bit weaker. Does he have enough stuff? The Ultra's just doing so much damage.
Planetary Fortress does just finish up, though, so it's certainly going to be a factor. Paranoid going to try and attack him with the rest of his units. Cloud going to need to pull back and reinforce this. No repair. He's just going to give up the Planetary. There it goes.
Yeah, so down to just about 2 mining bases again. His natural getting very low as well. Supply count still in Paranoid's favor here. killing off a few units. He's getting his +3 as well, but yeah, Cloud doing exactly what he needs to do. Like I said, he needs to make these little sort of break-off attacks and try to kill these outlying hatcheries. He's reducing the mining for Paranoid in a pretty big way as well. Oh, no, but he can't lose that force.
He right-clicked his forces pass and lost about a medevac's worth of units there, unfortunately.
Oh, he doesn't have a fungal either. Oh, lucky break there for Cloud.
All right, so let's see now. We've essentially been reduced at 3 bases to 3 bases, but what's the mining situation? Paranoid has quite a few more resources over at his 3rd, even has a few hanging around his natural as well. Cloud a little bit more mined out, but he is producing, once again, a 4th base, but needs to think about, obviously, eventually floating over this orbital command.
You know, I feel like Paranoid's drone count may be a little bit low. Can we take a look at the worker count? Yeah, he's only at 61 right now. His income is definitely reflecting that as well. For the amount of bases that he has, he's having a very hard time replenishing his army. His drone count throughout the entire game was a little bit low. I wonder if maybe he kind of got a little bit off track in terms of his rhythm and missed a round of drone production. It's certainly hurting him now. I mean, he's not out of the game just yet, but he's going to need to find a time to kind of drone up to stay in this here.
And unfortunately, this medevac going to get cleaned up very quickly. Goes down without really doing all that much damage at all. Cloud, though, making his way through this base once again. And that is a pretty small force against what's coming here from Cloud.
Oh, Paranoid not paying attention here. Oh, I guess he is fungling, but I don't think that was a good attack, man. I mean, all those ultras just getting absolutely wasted.
Yeah, no kidding. 60 supply advantage now for Cloud at the moment. It looks like he is going to be able to power through this base.
Losing the infestors as well. Yeah, I mean, Paranoid had a good position in this game, but just didn't have the sustainability. He's lost a lot of workers, wasn't able to replace them, and now he just doesn't have the army to take this on, I don't think.
Yeah, and Cloud cleans up that force pretty effectively. He's going to try and put down the base once again, driving away that overlord, so the creep will recede at least a little bit, and indeed it does. Now Cloud re-attacking back down at the bottom right. Paranoid's going to have this base denied as well.
Yep.
Well,
yeah, Cloud,
looks like he's reacting.
Cloud playing this later part of the game, pretty much perfectly.
Yeah, those 3/3 bio units can go through these buildings so quickly. Oh, but he's not going after the building.
Whoops.
Down to 100 hit points, and he actually gets cleaned up.
Yeah, that building, though, it's going to be very, very difficult for Paranoid to get any, real useful mining out of that, though, with the hit points that way. And his drone count is so low, he's going to be very hesitant sending them in a place like that. Losing an infestor, that siege tank as well. 187 supply to just 116. Cloud certainly seems like he's got a great position in this game right now.
And it looks like Cloud is going to lose these couple of medevacs here, but he is still up by 70 supplies, we mentioned. No real mining going on at any of Paranoid's bases, but Cloud actually was just about mined out as well, so he's trying to restart things, I should say, over at the gold wall, taking out bases at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, Paranoid trying to make drones right now. He's making one, but he needs so many larvae for offensive units that it's going to be tough to kind of get that round out. He keeps losing hatcheries as well, just like the one we saw there. Down on bases yet again. Oh, Cloud snipes the hatch in the bottom right part of the map as well.
Yeah, those forces are going to get cleaned up, but man, Paranoid is just kind of running into a brick wall at the moment. Cloud, he's funneling a lot of Zerglings through the small choke points. The Baneling's hitting quite a few units there. The tank count has been reduced, but the Ultras have no support now.
Yeah,
they just instantly died. There's GG, and Cloud has tied things up for ATN Type.
Yeah, and we've got ourselves a match here. Cloud, definitely a player capable